Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning, dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Looking for some hot takes on the Lodgecast. I need phone counts and library rights. I want some hot takes in my eardrums. Watch out for salad dragons. These takes are coming in hot tonight. I want some hot takes. I need your hot takes.
Hello and welcome to a cave-dwelling episode of Hot Takes. I'm your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishki.
Hi.
We got Brother Lucas in the back seat.
You check in, but will you check out?
And we got Brother Justin.
Hey, y'all.
And Lodge Mistress Millie.
Hey.
The movie we just saw, that we just came out of, fresh from the bowels of the pits of hell. The movie is Barbarian. And holy shit, it's discount night.
Discount night.
We're just past the heat wave now, and I think they kept all of the AC levels cranking at what they had them at during the heat wave. And now that it's settled down a bit, it's crispy in there.
It's cold. I
Felt
didn't bring a
good.
sweater.
A market
And
difference.
I was shivering. I had
10
my hands in my pockets.
10 degrees colder than the last movie we were in.
Agree, Justin.
And it's great to go to a horror movie when it's cold because you stay alert. You know, you don't want to have that. We've been there so many times, just that kind of swampy theater with a movie that's trying to creep you out with a bunch of creeper rounds, and you're just passing out.
Yeah.
And it takes a jump scare to wake you up.
Yeah.
Like this keeps you frosty.
Yeah. Discount night brings people out. And I think that's why we love it so much. Because
was packed.
Because it was packed. Yeah.
And if you go to a horror movie, you want to see it. Like, we had the ideal crowd. We had this crowd was respectful of Queen Kidman. They were making fun of the yes, the projector is still on shit.
Some tomfoolery.
There's some tomfoolery,
laughs.
but very respectful of the film, but also freaking the fuck out when necessary. Like
The audience was with it. It played great tonight.
That's the ideal. That's the ideal.
The guy behind me was loving it.
Oh yeah, that one dude.
Yeah, he was
that
just-
one dude.
Just hitting it hard.
Anytime anything remotely funny or scary happened,
Or amusing. Mildly amusing.
mildly amusing.
I think I heard him from a distance.
And whoever he was with was like, "Shh,
please, you're
don't-
embarrassing
yeah,
me."
don't do that."
Just come on, Kyle, not on discount night.
I mean, that is that is the ultimate tragedy, and it's befallen me before. When you are dating someone, or you're going out with somebody, you're going out in the town with them, and this is what happened to me. It's even worse than this. It's like, and that person has like a laugh that's really rough, you know, or it's like really grating, and people like always their heads turn, because then you find yourself like not wanting to make them laugh, not wanting to make them happy. It is a tragedy. So I hope that's not what was going on tonight, but that dude was loud.
He was hitting it.
Yeah.
I had a pre-creep beat before the film.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
Millie, tell your
in the
tale.
bathroom, you know, just doing a little pre-theater pee.
Before you get into it, I went into the bathroom to do my favorite activity, which is take a little puff of vape in the stall.
Oh, nice.
And so when I came out and you confronted me with this story, I was shook. I didn't know how to handle it. So
I wonder why you were so taken with my tale. I was like, it's not that good.
and you were telling me it in front of the concession person, who was also goofing around because he was stoned to the bone. So please tell your tale.
As I was sitting there on the toilet, just, going for it.
Full Barbarian.
I saw somebody look under the stall beside me, and the stall was open.
Whoa.
Okay, so then they peeped under my stall, hair brushed the floor, saw a little face,
creepy
saw a little bit of a face, and I was like, what the fuck?
That scared
And
the
then they
shit out of me.
moved along.
It was an adult?
I don't know. It was like hair brushed the gross floor, and I saw a little bit of face.
And I was like,
Barbarian.
and I was like, is she in this lobby now? And you're like, no. So where did she go?
I guess she went into another stall. I don't know what she was
the
looking
Smile
for. She was
trailer.
playing like a prank. I don't know. I don't know how old this person was. I just saw a little bit of hair and a little bit of a face.
That sucks.
But it was kind of creepy.
That is like something out of this movie we saw tonight.
I made eye contact through hair.
Their
It was
face, no,
weird.
but their eyes.
It was weird.
Millie, is it the woman in the car next to us right now?
Yes, there's a woman just. Oh my God, that's creepy. There's a woman just sitting there.
Justin, it might be her.
Audience of one.
I think it's her.
This is our super stand here for the Lodgecast.
Well,
Live.
let's retreat into talking about this
Sorry.
movie. But before we do so,
How do you get the protein as quick as possible into the bloodstream? A little schnapps.
I got a schnapps. Here we go. Rotten Tomatoes. Traveling to Detroit for a job interview, a young woman books a rental home. But when she arrives late at night, she discovers that the house is double booked and a strange man is already staying there. Against her better judgment, she decides to spend the evening, but soon discovers that there's a lot more to fear than just an unexpected house guest. Period.
all right. All right. Well, it should be noted. I mean, we've already warned you at the top of this show and every show, but if you intend to see this, don't listen to this right now.
No.
Just go to the movie. Like every
revealed.
every single thing we say is going to be a spoiler in some way or another.
Yeah, very glad I knew absolutely nothing.
I knew nothing.
Seeing the trailer, I think, would have really ruined this movie for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea.
We were so in the dark going into this that if there were actual barbarians in the movie, I would have been like, well, yeah, makes sense.
Yes.
I thought there
Yeah.
were going to be barbarians for
That's
real.
when I pitched this to Millie. I was just like, Millie, you're going. And you said, what's the film called? And I said, Barbarian. And you said, yeah, that sounds good to me. So I don't know what you were imagining.
A barbarian.
I don't know what I was imagining, but
Oh, you guys wanted oiled up, muscly dudes.
Yeah.
yes, we always
I was
do.
picturing the Northman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's got a Skarsgard or a
Skarsgard.
So he's
Skars.
not related to the Northman.
He Skarsgard's hard.
What's the Skarsgard's name? Or Sarsgaard?
Bill Scar. Oh,
Hold on, I'll get it. This was Bill Skarsgard.
yes, and is his dad Stellan Skarsgard?
No, I think
That's his uncle?
no. Well, we'll get into the family tree later.
All right.
On omniscient editorial note.
Yes, we will. Omniscient editorial note. Stellan Skarsgard is father to Bill and Alexander Skarsgard. Peter Sarsgaard is a completely unrelated dude. So anyway, he played Pennywise in It, right? We can all agree on that.
Yes, he's a heavy. He's normally a character actor.
And he is cast in this as the strange lodger in this rented house. And the whole beginning is very relatable. Like, you can tell where the inspiration came from. It's just like, you know, you're checking into an Airbnb a little later than usual. And you're like, what if somebody was already here, you know? And continue with that, you know?
Hitchcock Psycho vibes, because it's like in the
Yes.
rain, woman checking in the rain.
Yes.
Like weird
Yeah.
dude who may or may not be friendly. We don't really
Right.
know.
And she's a little charmed by him, but a little scared.
Yeah.
And that all felt really of this time too, because
Yes.
they state very clearly all of the anxieties about trusting people in this day and age, especially a woman trusting a strange dude. And he always comes back like, I made you tea, but you didn't see me pour the tea, so I understand that you're apprehensive about drinking it. You know, like shit like that. Like, I haven't really seen that in movies yet, represented that realistically.
Yeah, he was almost trying so hard not to be a creep that it came back around
Yeah,
180
for sure.
and it was kind of creepy.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which is the way to play it.
Really, really good casting because he does often play a bad guy. Like
They cast him correctly because
Yes.
it totally sets him up as this like total creep. You just feel it. Like you just know who he is playing it or whatever. That,
Right.
Like he's got to be.
There's something fucked up
there's
about
so-
him.
Yeah, there's
He
something. I'm
seems
just
charming,
waiting for
but-
the other shoe to drop.
yes.
So then our main character goes into the basement, and Millie, what you squeezed my hand during this section. What happens in that basement?
Well, she finds a rope coming out of a hole, and she starts to pull it. And you're just like,
Like, what is this gonna be?
And then the camera kind of it was good the way they did a lot of cool reveals. Like they did very cool reveals in this.
Yes.
So it was like they didn't let us see that was a door beforehand. So then they kind of pan over and you see that there's a door there and the door's like creeping open. And so there's more to this basement.
Yeah, there's like a long underground corridor that leads to this room with a blood and other element stained mattress and an old VHS camera and a bucket. And I was getting like little twinges of like torture porn days of yore, like when like the early 2000s when every horror movie would have a room like that, you know? So it was interesting to see that again.
But just as a reminder, as that era has passed, thank Christ,
Yes.
because that
Thank
was awful.
Christ.
It didn't turn into just torture porn.
Yes,
That
and I was like,
that was an awful decade.
I was like,
I was getting worried.
I was like,
Me
is this
too,
movie
me
gonna
too.
turn
I was like, I don't
into-
want to watch that.
I don't want to see like an underground torture porn movie. Like,
but the movie knows that you don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And it gives you enough of a stench of it, but doesn't wallow in it. Which is the right call for right now. You know, we don't need that. The shit's dark enough out there right
Yeah.
now.
The news is torture porn.
Yes. So she continues to find deeper and deeper corridors, and circumstances develop. Like, how much of this are we going to give
yeah,
away?
you don't need to go in total depth,
But it's
Skarsgard comes back.
Yes, and she tells him about what's down there. He goes to check it out on his own, and then he gets fucking absconded with. She goes down to help him because she is a good Samaritan, and he meets a grisly end. So that's like a definite psycho
Twist.
twist.
It pulls
right
the
there.
rug
Yeah.
right out from under you, and at a certain point, it like cuts to black, and I almost thought the end credits were gonna roll.
Right.
I thought that was
That's
the
what
end.
they want you to
I
think.
thought it was the end of the movie because I had lost track of time. I was like, that can't be it, can it? And then it kept going, but I was like, for a split second, I was like,
No,
is that
no,
the
there's
end of the movie?
No, there's no way. It was like 40 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's
It felt
no way.
a little longer, but yeah.
And that's what the movie does. It's like at the height of the scares, they cut either away to a new story beat or some different character or a different time. It does it a couple times in the movie. So this first time we go to Justin Long, who I did not know was in this movie.
No, yeah.
And he's a director or
He's an actor.
Actor
Actor.
driving in Malibu, like so refreshing to get out of this dirty basement and you're driving in Malibu. You don't like at first. Then I was like, this is like a 3-part different kind of movie.
Yeah.
This
Right,
is like
right.
something totally different, which was just refreshing because
Yes.
I thought we were going to be stuck in that house
Yep.
the entire movie with 2 people, and this was a 1-location
Yep.
movie, and so just getting out of there and driving through Malibu, and then this kind of turns into a comedy for a while.
And
Yeah.
it is also it's a creep around movie too, which I often make fun of and dislike on this very program. But in this movie, it's refreshing in a way because you're not going upstairs into the attic to creep around. You're going downstairs into like some dungeon caves to creep around. That's new. It's a new place to creep around. But I agree, it's good to get out of the house.
Yeah.
So we meet him, and he's basically in the process of getting canceled for allegedly raping a co-star, which it's like, whoa, this movie is like, it's going a different direction here, you know?
Up to date.
There's no way you could really guess that plot beat was coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it turns out that he's running out of money. His career's about to be fucked, and he owns some real estate in Detroit, where our hero is staying and languishing in the basement somewhere. So he goes back to Detroit to liquidate his assets to try to get some money. So he ends up at this house. So that dovetails those plots together, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, we had a little vacation. We got to get out and about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're back.
Back in the basement, yeah. He's got the... he's starting to measure the square footage. Once he finds this basement...
This is where the comedy kicks in.
When he gets home, that's at least the first salad dragon. He is so hell-bent on getting the most money for his property. He goes downstairs and discovers the same passageways, and he is shocked. And you think he's shocked for the same reasons as everybody else is, because holy shit, what the fuck? But he's shocked at his good fortune for having extra square footage to sell. So he whips out his tape measure and just starts tape measuring all of these horrific areas and
torture rooms
and caverns. And he doesn't give a fuck about that.
And the lighting is still creepy.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, he just gives an errand like, oh, what the fuck? But keeps measuring.
He keeps measuring. And that's when we quickly encounter the next salad dragon.
Double dragon.
Okay, let's talk about she who dwells in these subterranean corridors. What did you guys think of this crazed, naked, slimy woman that comes out of the darkness and tackles these people?
It's like Sloth from the Goonies meets the bathtub lady from The Shining.
Yes,
or like Hills Have Eyes.
Yes,
too.
all of that. All of that.
I have to admit, in the 40-minute cold open, when Bill Skarsgard meets his end, I had to look away because it was so out of left field.
Yes.
Like, I really, to the very last second, I was convinced he was going to like break and be like, you got me, Tess. Turns out I'm the guy down here that's going to get you.
Nope, he was just a good guy.
But he was legitimately a good guy.
What did you guys think of the look of this creature woman?
I thought it was a testament to just doing something really, really well.
Yeah.
Tone wise and design wise, because that lady's not breaking the mold by any means.
No.
We have seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's done so well that it really doesn't matter. It's so effective.
And the setting in the dark, like she's in these caves and the darkness is obscuring her and she moves really fast. And they're smart with how much they show her, like how they gradually reveal her, more and more of her, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of it's shot with super wide angle lenses, so the image is really distorted.
Yes, a lot of it felt like either a Silent Hill game or like a Resident Evil, like later installments of Resident Evil where, shit like this happens all the time. Like
I really like the next section flashback. Like the 80s flashback to the basically, I don't know, abductor dad in the 80s and the neighborhood's all cleaned up. And they shoot the way that's all shot, like wide angle, just following around like a, kind of a, serial killer, or abductor person. Like,
it's very colorful.
Yeah. I really like that direction and the wide angle photography there.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it looked great, like overall, like for what it was doing. What else do you want? So this woman keeps Justin Long in a cage, in like a pit with like a cage top. And we see the woman from the beginning. She's trapped down there too.
Well, and I will say, like, because I definitely thought she was dead because he comes in, like, we don't know what happened to her, and then Justin Long comes in. All their stuff is still there, and they're like, it's been 2 weeks.
Right.
And we know if it's been 2 weeks, it's bad news.
Right.
Because, like, how's she getting food? Like, I mean, she's with this subterranean person who we think may have eaten this other guy, maybe.
Sure.
Because he said he bit her.
She witnessed his demise.
So
it was pretty brutal.
When we saw her, my immediate thought, and it does get answered, was, how did she get any food?
Yeah. And then we find out.
This is the double dragon right here, right?
This is triple. This is the third dragon.
The triple dragon.
1, 2, 3.
She considers these captors her babies. Then there's a video in like this swaddling room of a baby,
nursing room or
baby nursing her mother. And when Justin Long discovers this room, he's like, he's like, it smells so bad. And like you could understand that it would. And she wants to feed them her breast milk, and she extends down into the pit this giant bottle of her breast milk, and there's her long, dark, stringy hairs on the nipple. And, you know, our hero's been chilling down there for a few weeks, so she knows the score, and she just starts suckling. She's like, you have to do what she says.
Man.
Don't anger her. Drink it.
A giant nipple on that giant bottle. Oh.
And she's just suckling that nipple. He doesn't want to do it, so she kind of has to feed him by force, and that's when our hero makes her little escape. But she has to keep going back. She's too good. What'd you think of that?
I mean, you want your hero to be like, you know, you kind of want them to be as smart as you. Like, and
I think basically she was.
Yeah, I don't know. She's like, get the hell out of there at some point, you know? Like, who is Justin Long to you? You know, like who, you know, like you just have to get out of there. And then she goes to the cops and like they don't do anything. And it's just,
that was too real.
Yeah.
Hashtag too real.
Yeah. I
that
mean,
felt really real when the cops are like, we got other shit and you seem cracked out. So what are we supposed to do?
I mean, to be fair to the cops, those guys probably see a woman in her condition saying on an hourly basis,
saying the same
crazy
thing.
shit.
Yeah.
There were points where I was just like, get out of there. Like get the, you know, you've been through enough.
There's a mystical homeless man that keeps trying to warn her.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew when he was like trying to warn her in the first act, and she thought he was a foe. I was like, no, lady, he's gonna like tell her she's not safe in there, and she's not gonna believe him.
And he lets her know that the woman is dangerous, and that she's not the worst thing down in that basement, and that she comes out at night, which is interesting. Our hero goes back down. By this point, Justin Long has discovered the man of the house, the serial killer guy, and he's just kind of languishing in his bed. And
no, wait a minute. Justin Long says dad, right? Am I right? This is his dad.
No.
Wait,
what?
Am I completely off on that?
Yes.
Okay. Then I need to back my.
You thought that was his dad?
Justin Long was from the area, and after he made it big, he invested in real estate.
But did he know that? Did he know that?
No.
Okay.
That guy has been living under the house rent free.
I'll back that criticism up because that I heard a completely different line.
Oh, wow.
What came out of the screen? Okay.
Well, no, because earlier he was brushing his teeth, and his mom was like, "Yeah, we miss you," and he was like, "Dad misses me," and she was like, "No, you know how Dad is." So they were like, "Yeah, definitely around somewhere."
Yeah.
I need to read up on this. I'm a little confused. Okay, keep going.
So anyway, he finds.
I think he probably said dude.
He says dude a lot. He's like, dude. So he's this guy who has been kidnapping women and making, as the mystical homeless man says, making babies, and the babies making babies, and a copy of a copy of a copy is what you get.
Yikes.
This woman that's creeping around.
He's like,
there.
and you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, apparently it makes supernatural beings. I don't know.
And Justin Long sees all these videotapes that were taped in that Rompus room. And he puts one on, but
they've all got names of like women, but some of them just say like Irish accent or blind
or puker
or puker. Yeah,
that
it's
was
really
too
bad.
real too.
And then, but the movie knows like we're not in the mood to really go for that right now. Like that's not what we're doing right now. So he puts it on. He watches a little bit of it. You see the look on his face. That's all you really need. You know, that's probably scarier in our minds than what they could have shown us. So anyway,
that's fine.
100%.
So anyway, I was a little disappointed that the old man in the room dispatched with himself. I thought he was going to be more of a
that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, and especially when the dude outside was like, "There's worse things down there." Like
I kept waiting for the worst thing. Yeah,
but I get that he's the reason for the season. He's the one doing it all.
I think it was implied that Justin Long was saying the cops are going to be here. They're going to shut this place down.
Right.
So the old man saw the writing on the wall and is like, "It's over.
Right.
You're not going to take me alive." And he was pretty much immobile.
But that's not necessarily like, I feel like they could have squeezed a few more scares out of that. Because he was pretty.
I thought he was like signaling in the room, the old man, to like have him like hand him another rope, and he was gonna like pull the rope, which would then ring the bell, and then the big boss was gonna come out of the ground or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like we were a little robbed there, but.
Well, especially when you say copies of copies of copies, it's like I need a little more of
Where
a
are the
menagerie
others?
down.
Where's the rest?
Some
Where's
can't
the
walk,
other chuds?
like others can't talk.
Where's the rest?
Hashtag where's the other chuds? So anyway, our hero goes back down to save him. He's got the gun that the old man used to kill himself, and he accidentally shoots our hero in the side. Like, I thought she was dead. I thought he killed her.
Yeah, I thought that for sure.
And I'm like, how is this going to work? But no, it was one of those cinematic
flesh wounds.
Superhuman flesh.
Right in the side.
The movie lost a whole bone during that scene for me, where I was like, oh, the cynicism is now overtaking this.
Right. But she's alive. So we need to break down this climax. So she's like, I know where to go. The homeless man had told her, like, I live down by the river or something. She can't get me.
Water tower.
Water tower. I live down by the water tower. She can't get me down there. So they go meet up with him, and he fills him in a little bit. And that's when he does the copies of the copies speech.
He looked kind of like a copy.
And then there's a little crouton moment.
Salad crouton.
Where she's like, how do you know she can't get you here? And he's like, I've been here for 15 years and she's never. And then she bursts through the water tower.
Like Kool-Aid.
Like bursts through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid barbarian.
Hilarious.
And she rips off his arm. I'm going to upgrade this to a salad dragon.
It is
a salad dragon.
4 dragons.
She rips off his arm and just wildly beats him to death with it. And so our heroes start leaving, and there's all these little signs that Justin Long is, of course he's an alleged rapist who basically told his friend that he did in fact rape this woman. And there's other little signs that he's like not very redeemable, like when he's running up the water tower stairs and she's like, wait up, dude. Like, hold on. Like, he's in it for himself. It's very clear. So he's headed to the top of the water tower. She's falling behind. The old lady is hot on their heels as well. And she's like, shoot him with your gun. And he looks at her, takes out his gun, bobbles it, drops it. The whole theater's with it.
Bobbles it, drops it over the top of the water tower.
So it's gone. The theater's totally with it. And she comes up and he's like, I have a plan. I know how to escape, but you're going to have to slow her down first. And he grabs our hero and just tosses her off the water tower.
And the direction was kind of botched. Like, I don't know. And then the next...
She flies off and we see her...
You have to save your baby.
Yeah, and he yells at the old lady, you got to save your baby. And then the next shot is the old woman diving off the water tower and coming down towards the camera. I mean, this is another dragon.
It is.
How it feels to chew 5 dragons. Stimulate your senses.
Dragons within dragons and copies of copies.
The shot of her diving towards the camera, I was just like, oh.
And I thought it was like fake out or something.
So that happened. And then Justin Long looks over the edge. Now, how does this work gravity-wise. Because
she's superhuman. You have to remember that.
Yeah,
I guess she falls pretty quick.
Yeah, she's dense.
But she dove down and like did that thing where she dove like a swimmer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she could get to the body faster.
So she somehow ended up under our hero to break our hero's fall. Do you buy that?
It didn't track for me because I just saw Orphan First Kill, so I was on a different level, you know? Like,
I think if I had to guess, I would say it was edited at first in a way that they could almost pull it off.
Sure.
And it happened too quickly. And so people couldn't recognize what was happening. So things that were supposed to be happening concurrently had to be paced out so you could understand what the hell was happening.
Because ideally,
that's my guess.
There's that shot of her slow motion, kind of a psycho shot of the dude falling down the stairs where we're on her face and seeing her fall and the earth rapidly approaching behind her. And then we're kind of her POV when the old lady jumps off hilariously. And then you kind of need to go back to the other shot and see the old lady zoom past her or something.
It's very botched. And the way it is,
I don't know if I call it botched.
I mean, no,
I've never seen anything like this before.
If it was edited in a way that would have passed muster logically, we would be robbed of the most magnificent shot in the movie.
It is,
which I think that was the conundrum.
Yes,
they're like, we need to have the shot in because
we need
it's
to
so
protect
good.
it because it's going to blow everybody's mind, and it did. So, but yeah, it was a little bullshit, but
our hero who's been shot survives the fall off a water tower
and
unscathed.
And Justin,
we've seen more ridiculous stuff. Come on,
we have. And Justin Long goes down there and it's like, oh my God, you're alive. I had to do it. I had to do it, but now I'm saving you. I saved you, right? Yeah, I saved you. And then Mama wakes up and she basically sticks her pointy fingers into his eye sockets. Bishki, did you like that eye trauma?
I closed my eyes.
You closed your eyes?
I have to.
So do you know what she did after that?
I mean,
she cracked his skull open like a pistachio.
Oh, I saw that.
Okay, you saw
that was fine for me.
The pistachio,
as long as I don't see the fingers go in the eyes.
The pistachio head crack is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. This ending is a crouton. I gotta call it what it is.
Salad crouton.
The mom reaches down and she's very concerned about her baby. She wants to pick her up and take her back to the underground dwelling. Our hero grabs the gun slowly and is basically like, I'm not going back with you. I can't do that. And holds the gun to the old woman's head. And the old woman kisses her fingers and gives her a little kiss. And then right on the gun blast, it's the director's credit. Like there's no more silliness. Like it's just boom.
Ronettes, be my baby. There you go.
Yeah. And then they have a couple more shots that are neither here nor there of her kind of leaving, which I don't think it needed.
Yeah.
Like I think just end it there. That's why it's a crouton, not a dragon. That's the difference. But I really like that sensibility of like
little stinger, a little button.
You don't audience, you don't need anything else. You got what you came for. Let's move the fuck on,
Yeah, it's like how many movies have we seen where there's a wide shot and the camera's going up on a crane and the cops are showing up. It's like,
right.
All right, well, that's clearly not going to happen here. The cops don't give a fuck.
The cops still, like, once they find out what happened, they still will shrug. They'll be like, yeah.
This happened 2 streets over.
That's a Tuesday. Yeah.
Can we go to them bones?
Let's go to them barbarian bones. Fishkey, it seems like you need the most help here. What's going on over there?
Well, I think this movie's got a lot of good setups, a lot of good direction, I thought, and pretty good acting. Justin Long was making me laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I really got thrown for a loop when I thought Justin Long was the dad.
That's like a bold new plot point.
So that I have to retread my bones because that was really taking it down a notch. I was like,
what of that?
I was like, your dad's a basement dweller and you never knew any, like what? I was so confused. Anyway, so that bumps it back up a half a bone. But,
nice.
But the script does need punch ups. That ending is pretty absurd. And I think the crowd is laughing, but I mean, it's kind of a horror comedy.
Yeah.
But then her section and the whole setup with her and Skarsgard is very realistic.
Yes.
So that's not really a comedy, but then all that setup with him and then you cut to, you just kind of cut it off. But I guess it's like Psycho. So
it is like Psycho.
And there's other movies in here, People Under Stairs and different things and
definitely People Under the Stairs.
Yeah, a lot of influences that are good and good direction, but because of the script, I'm not going to probably give it as high as I think what everyone else is going to give it. I'll give it 2 bones.
2 bones from Brother Bishke. That's strict.
Yeah.
That's strict.
But pretty entertaining night at the movies, though. Pretty bold choices, and I applaud that for a horror.
There you go. Brother Justin, what do you have to say about this?
I was taking notes mentally because I thought this movie was doing a lot of fantastic things. And I think what really is happening is sometimes if you can get a really good laugh or if you think something is going to play out really well with an audience, you can sacrifice tone to do it.
But you got to make sure if you come for the king, you best not miss.
Yeah. So you can sacrifice that horror tone for comedy, but the comedy's got to work.
Right.
And then when you get back from the comedy to horror, it's got to be fucking scary. And I think this movie did it better than any movie I've seen in years.
Whoa.
I mean, it had some hints of Sam Raimi in there.
Yes.
But not as slapsticky. I mean, no one... Mm-hmm. Sam Raimi's the only person that can pull that off. That's nearly impossible for anyone else. But, I mean, god damn, that was delightful through and through. I think... my bones were wavering a little bit towards the end because I thought it was going to make some questionable choices. But I think it really pulled it together. And I can't go 4 bones. That's absurd.
Yes.
But I'm going to go as high as 3.5.
There you go, Brother Justin.
Wow.
There you go.
This is in my running for top 10 of the year for sure.
Ooh. Love it. Brother Lucas, you gonna cool this edge down?
Spoiler alert!
I think Sam Raimi would be proud tonight. Definitely felt like a Sam Raimi production a little bit, and I also thought this would have been a perfect remake of Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, because I don't feel anyone's capitalized on a witch title for a Halloween movie.
Interesting.
And you could just set this whole thing at Halloween and just call it Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Season of the Underground Mama Witch.
I was also thinking it kind of is like Deliverance meets The Descent, but like under a neighborhood, a suburban neighborhood type deal. The first 40 minutes really had me. I was like, because I had no idea what to expect.
That's the best when you don't know, you don't even know Justin Long showing up necessarily. So it could just be these two.
Yeah. And so when it cut hard to his story, I was completely disoriented and it like really just took all the tension out of the room, and it definitely shifted hard into different tonal land. And I kind of felt myself getting bored with a lot of the real time. Yeah, like his rape shit. Like it was just so like, what are we watching now? All of a sudden, we just spent the last 40 minutes and it ends on such a cliffhanger that like it was hard for me to focus. And so I was definitely thinking like, man, what are they doing? And then when he finally got to the house, I was like, oh, okay, I see now. I'm getting back on board, but it takes me a while to settle, right? Because I'm still just like thinking about everything else.
I think either that's going to be, tasty or whatever it was to you. Like it's a risk.
I feel like the audience loved it more than I did because I wasn't laughing like with him measuring the space. I thought it was a funny idea and it was funny, but not like laugh out loud funny. But then, there were like moments later with like the bottle where I was like, okay, like this is picking up steam again. And then it would like cut to something else it kept kind of like, even with the flashback or whatever, I was like, man, this is the pacing of it is jarring. It's like herky jerky for me. And I guess I was really hoping it was going to just crank and build the tension to an unbearable level. And then there'd be like something worse, like a big boss, like baby, you know, or like a rat,
big boss baby.
like a rat king baby, where all the babies are like fused together and they can only go in one direction, like a spider or something.
That's a live creepy re-rate.
So I'll give it 2.5 bones.
2.5 from the hothead. Bishki's the low man tonight so far. So far. Lodge Mistress Millie.
I thought there was a lot to love here. It was not overwritten, which you can't really say for a lot of horror movies. There was a lot of cool, like especially with that serial killer section. I thought like the way that he was like
Justin Long's dad. You mean?
Yeah, Justin Long's quote unquote dad. He goes to the grocery store and it's like, you know, I got to get some stuff for this, you know, baby. And she's like, she's like a hospital, and he's like home birth, and you're like, okay. And so it's like, so they're just dropping all this stuff. I also thought, again, like I was saying before, there's a lot of really cool reveals, right? So she pulls up to this house in the rain. You don't get a good view of what's going on. It's raining. It's dark.
Right.
She looks around and it's like all the other houses are dark, and you're like, okay. But then when she comes out in the next morning, you're like, holy shit, because these houses are like
bombed out,
desolate, and there's like cars that are just, there's nothing. There's no one around. So it's like adds that extra creep in the daytime. Now,
and it's weird that it was evidently shot in Bulgaria as Detroit.
Because like Detroit, you would think they would have that kind of bomb anyway.
Yeah.
But that was my whole thing, is like, why did she come back?
Right.
Like once she was out of there and met with her girl who she was having this job interview with, whatever. There's no way
you
in
would
hell
never go back.
I would go back
again and again and again.
There's no way. But that being said, I really felt like this film was like a series of shorts with sort of the house as its unifying factor.
Yeah.
Because each of the pieces had a very different tone. You had the piece with her and Skarsgard, which again, that was so real and riveting, and just my eyes were closed. I was scared. I was like, like the whole thing was too real, but like deftly done.
Yeah.
And then you had the sort of short with the other guy that was a whole sort of comedic tone.
It is like different directors maybe that took each section.
Each section. And then you had the sort of serial killer one, which was, you know, a very different look, a very different vibe. You know, and then you sort of have this house that kind of brings them all together.
And then you have the water tower section, the infamous.
The weird water tower section.
It's like in Tim Burton's Batman.
And much like Lucas, like when they cut to the comedy one with that guy, I was like really thrown for a loop. But I kind of liked it because I didn't want to be in that dreary basement.
We had to get out of the basement.
The bucket and the bed and the camera. Like, get me the F out of there.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Thank you for not
that.
swearing.
You're welcome. And, you know, and then it's like the water tower ending. It didn't bother me. It was a little absurd. But the fact that she was superhuman.
Well, yeah, maybe if her brains were like coming out the back of her head, but she was still strong enough to like kill him.
Go. And I was like, okay, well, if she's superhuman, she's superhuman. I'll just buy in. But anyway, I was pretty riveted the whole time. I thought there was a lot of good scares. Like, I thought there was a lot of great, like, just camera work. And I thought there was some really good writing. So I got to go with Justin on this. I'm at 3.5.
3.5 of the Lodge Mistress. Hell yeah. This is original entertainment.
Bravo.
It was playing me like a piano. When that tone shift happened, I knew exactly what was going on. I'm like, we're getting out of the basement. I was surfing on them waves. And every turn, I was delighted. Every new door that was opened, I was pleased with. Like I said, I was a little disappointed that there wasn't a bigger baddie down there, that the dark daddy that was wasting away didn't find some strength and become more of a foe. But god damn it, like that water tower ending, you guys are crazy. It is the best. It is so fucking funny. Like, and it knows it's funny. Like when that woman dove off toward the camera, it had my heart and soul.
That's where you see Sam Raimi shine through.
That's where I saw God. So this is a 3.5 bone motion picture. I was very pleased with this evening at the movies.
I was pleased.
And the title, anybody have any thoughts on Barbarian?
I wish it was called like Barbarian at the Gate or Barbarian in the Basement, or just throw in some house related thing.
Right. Well, what was her street? The street was like Barbie Street or Barb Street. Barbary Street.
Oh,
Lodge Master and I have had to retitle a script 17 times in the last 5 years, so maybe you just give up after a while.
No, you could call it She Comes at Night.
So anyway, I did look up what the director had to say about what the title was, and he basically doesn't know. He's like, it sounds intriguing, and I like it when people argue about what a title means after the movie.
Fair enough.
That's
Barbaric feels more appropriate.
It does, but
I'm not giving up on my. That guy was Justin Long's dad.
I want you to get to the bottom of this.
I'm not fully giving up on it until I read up because.
But he didn't have a wife. He just had all those women that he like fucked and kept downstairs.
But maybe he was. That was like his other house, and him and
his mutant daughter seemed afraid of him because she wouldn't go in his room.
Because remember him on the phone, and he's like, "Is Dad there?" And he's like, "Oh, he doesn't want to." Like there's these hints, and then he's like, "Dad."
But his real dad was withering away.
So anyway, I'm going to research, and then if I find out some things,
I think you should tweet at Justin Long.
I'm gonna at tweet him.
Just tweet at
Q&A. I was
just
so
tweet
puzzled.
at him. Who's your daddy? Just see what happens. He might get it.
Well, that's Barbarian, folks. That's the hottest take we got.
Yeah, this director's one to watch. I think. Yeah.
Definitely.
Fuck yeah.
Or you could call it Air Barbarian B, like Airbnb.
Lucas, I have loved every one of your live rewrites right down the line. And it has been the exact inverse with your new titles. I don't know where you get your new titles from.
Air Barbarian B.
But you nailed it with that one. It should be called Air Barbarian B. Oh, shit. Loving barbarians, y'all.
Take me down, 6 underground, the ground beneath your feet. Laid out low, nothing to go, nowhere away to meet. I've got a head full of drought down here, so far off losing out. Round here, on the ground, watch this space. I'm open to falling from grace.
He Skarsgard's hard.